It looks like it's on, but I'm not seeing it on my other device. So give me a minute, please. Okay, looks like we're up. It's not very clear on my end. I'm not sure why. All right, well, we'll do the best we can. That's all we can do. I'm going to wait one more minute for people to get logged in. Whoops. Yeah, it is on my end too. I don't know why on my camera it's clear, but there must be something in the transmission. Okay, so it looks like people are here. I haven't had time to print off a fancy copy of the host code, but if you need one, please let me know. But for now, this is it. So tonight we're going to make a non-card item and a cute fall card. So let's get started. This is the little non-card item. I'm getting ready for Halloween. So I'm using the cutest Halloween stamp set and some of the ribbon that comes in the suite, as well as some of the little, I punched them out already, but you can see some of the paper. This is I keep it all together. It's so darn cute. I've had a couple of Stampin' stacks with it. So that's the story there. You're going to need a punch. And a lollipop. I'm using the Tootsie Roll Pops. So, very quick and easy to make. Let me get my cutter. So I've already pre-cut. You can get 5 of these out of one sheet because they're 2 inches by 8 inches. So let me put that right there. We're going to score it at 3 1/4 from each end. I'm lining that up on the 3 1/4. Make sure you're using, actually let me punch it first. I always like to do that and I forget. So if you don't have this particular scallop edge punch, but you have another tag punch, it's okay. It really is okay. Use what you have. That's my new philosophy. So I'm going to punch it on each end. Stick it in all the way. Try to line it up. Alright, now we can do the scoring. Get that out of the way. Hi everybody, I'm so happy to see you all here. So 3 1/4. We're going to score it. So make sure you're using the light blade on your scorer. Flip it over. 3 1/4. Oh, that doesn't look right. Let me double check this. I bet I didn't cut the 1/2 inch off. Let me check. Let's check this. It needs to be 8 inches. That's right. So I'm going to check a little bit. Make sure it's 8 inches. Alright, so I'm going to re-punch it. And then re-score good. 3 1/4. There, that looks better. So now you have these 2 tabs. Then I'm going to take a piece of, as you saw in my little box, I have all these scraps. I'm going to take a piece of scrap to cover the front of the lollipop like I have here. So I think this is already 1 3/4. Nope, I'm going to take a little bit off by 2 1/4. It's a great way to use up your scraps. Then I took some more scraps, like this piece here, and I just took some circle punches that I had and punched out the heads, and I have a little scallop punch from a few years back that's now retired. So I have those already right here. I'm going to put this on first, using my favorite glue. I think I'll put this side up. Now I have to make a whole bunch of these. I usually sell quite a few. And then all the grandchildren always like to see what Nana's going to make. So let's put some pop-ups behind this, as well as behind this. We're not mailing it, so we can be generous with our pop-ups. At least I'm not mailing it. If you are, you may want to rethink that. I'm going to put it this way since it's the same paper. I love this face on this guy. Okay, so you could put your lollipop in and staple it, but I like to use pop-ups. So I'm going to put one underneath the bottom of my lollipop. Set that right in the middle. I grab my ribbon. So I leave it on my spool. I'm going to put it through and then through the back. Now I want this to be nice and tight. So I'm going to put it up through so you can see that right there. I'll bring it up a little bit closer. And I'm going to come back over the top and come back through this hole so I can tie it in the front. Need a little bit more, I think. Okay, so once I have that secured, I tie in a bow. But first, just my knot. I am going to take a couple of bigger dimensionals. Grab a package here. And I'm going to put it right here on each side. Grab another one, and I'll bring it up closer so you can see it. See how I have them right next to the lollipop? Let's take those protective coating off. Whoop. Now you could staple this, but I'm always a nervous Nelly when it comes to candy about putting a staple, because I never know. I do sell these at a local place, and I never know how old the kid is that's getting it. So I'm always worried about the staples. So I tend to use something that an adult would see You know, should they put it in their mouth? So I'm making my bow. And now I'm just going to fidget with my bow just a little bit. Find my ribbon scissors. Trim that. I'm going to take a piece of this for my greeting. So about a 1/2 inch is fine. I'm just going to cut a piece because we're going to be punching it anyways. So it really doesn't matter. I was looking at my scrap bin here and I didn't have any in it. So that's why I had to cut a piece. We're going to use Memento Black ink. So this is just about a 1/2 inch. I'm going to stamp that right in the center. I love the font of this. There's so many darn cute little words in this stamp set. Okay, so there's my cover. Oh, underneath my punch. Okay, so then I'm using the Pick Your Banner punch. Now, I'm going to show you a little trick that I do. I can't remember if I've showed you this before. But I'm just going to take a pencil and make a dot so I know about where I want my banner to be. So now I'm going to slide it in upside down so I can see that dot. I know I need to go past the dot. Can you see the dot there? Yep, that's good. Now this is probably a little long. Let's trim it up just a whisker. Okay, so now I'm going to slide this one in till I see that. Oh, so I'm going to punch it because I don't see it. Then when I slide it down, I probably will. Yeah, there it is. I'm going to punch it again. Slide it back out. Get rid of all these scraps. Put a couple of more dimensionals over the edge here, I think I'll use. Now I'm going to put this edge on my little box because the words extend a little farther. Looks like we're having transmission issues again. So there, there's the cute little, I love this face. So you can see, you can get 5 out of 1 sheet of cardstock. So now I'm going to show you, let me put all this stuff away. My beautiful fall card. Switch baskets here. Now I used a ton of different products. Oh, I'm so glad you like that, Cindy and Patsy. I try to be a good grandmother. Alright, so they all like to see what Nana makes. I have to say that. Especially my oldest grandson. It just surprises me being a boy. Okay, so here's my very first fall card. Non-traditional colors. You know me, ladies. I'm not one to follow the norm. So I'm going to be using a ton of blending brushes and lots of stamp pads. So let me get everything out. The dies from the Canopy dies. The Happy Fall You All is from the Banner Year stamp set, which was a bundle last year with the punch that you've seen me use. Now they're separate, but that's where I got the Happy Fall, you all. Then I got the birds from Sailing Home. I've always loved this bundle. And I think I have all of my colors out. You're going to need a Post-it note. Let me move these out of the way. I'm going to try to put this up here because I got to make a big mess. You know how that is, right? Messy, messy. I'm going to get a piece of scrap paper right here. So, the colors that I'm using from the top down is Blackberry Bliss, Pumpkin Pie, Crushed Curry, a little bit of Balmy Blue, and Garden Green. Doesn't matter which order you go in. So, my card bases are, card parts I should say, a hot dog style card, which is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And then I took a piece of Blackberry Bliss, which is your traditional mat, which is 4 by 5 1/4. And then, believe it or not, I did use a piece of Whisper White. I just think I was worried that the Very Vanilla would get too matted. Then I cut out my trees from the canopy. Now this one here, I had a little piece of scrap. So I wanted to get 2 out of, so that's why this one is cut a little bit. So know that you can do that. You can move this over. We're not going to leave the bottom. But for this one, I'll put the whole thing on. And then the inside, I did use the double oval punch. I'm sorry I said that. So I'm going to move this out of the way just for a little bit so it doesn't get messy. So the first thing I do is I'm going to tack this down again. And I like to tack, I'm using temporary. Tack this down for a few minutes. Removable tape. Then I just take Post-it notes. And as you can see, I've already used this. I try to punch it out close to where it's tacky. I'm going to hold that down for a minute. And grab... I'm going to use the Crushed Curry. So I always rub the first little bit off, and I'm just gently going to rub this. It's going to get some more color as we progress. That's it. Absolutely it. So now I can take this mask off and then put this one on. Yep, it's still tacky. If you don't get it exactly, it's okay. Alright, so let's start blending some colors. I'm going to work from the bottom up. So I'm going to start with my Garden Green. I'm going to pick up some of my Garden Green in a circular motion. Come into my card. Now I wanted to add a little bit of texture, so I'm going to show you what I do. Yeah, that's it for the green. Close that one up, and let's grab the light blue. Start off the side, just like we did with our daubers. Those of you that are used to using your daubers, it's the same idea. You can always add more color, but you can't take it off. And I want to get these married a little bit. And you can see by adding pressure, you get a much different texture. Now I'm coming back in with a little bit of this crushed curry. Just going back and forth in very small circular motions. Okay, so now we're going to do pumpkin. And no two cards will be exactly alike. I had to re-ink this, so. Alright, so that's probably enough when I take my mask off to put a little bit on my sun or moon or whatever you want to call it. Now I'm coming in with the Blackberry Bliss. It's funny, I was out the other night and there was this kind of a sunset happening. Now you can see I'm getting a little heavier. I'm going to turn this a little bit because I just want to get the edges. And again, it's all on your preference. What do you like? And you can come down as far as you want. I want those edges really super dark. Oops, looks like I smeared some. I got some on my hand. Oh wow, I'm fine with it. I'm going to flip this over. Whoop. Now I want to do the edges. Just lightly. You can actually pick this up. Just very, very ever so lightly. Add a little bit of color so that it'll blend off from the matte. And we know sunsets aren't perfect, so it's okay. They're gorgeous, they're beautiful, but they're not perfect. So let me just rip off my mask here. And I want to come back in with this mango, just on one side. Pumpkin, I'm sorry. So we're going to put a tree right over there. So let me see how I can mask that a little bit. So I want my trees to be fairly low, because we're kind of like looking up at the sun, if you know, I mean at the sunset. So I'm going to grab my dauber, my glue dauber. You guys have seen me do this before. You can either put it on the cover or on your mat. if you keep it in an airtight container, it should last you quite a while. So then I just dab it on the leaves. To me, this is much easier. You could use the adhesive sheets, but sometimes they dull your dyes quite a bit. I'm going to try to put some on these branches. So there we go. I'm going to stick that back in there. I'm going to slide this one off. I do have 2 mats for that reason. Seems like I always get glue on one. Bring in this. Pat that down. Let it dry just for a minute. Grab my scissors. I did not buy any of the, I'm going to be honest with you, any of the pumpkin or, you know, that fallish leaves stamp sets that were in the catalog. I have so many leaves and stuff. I am going to trim off these that are overhanging. So I'm going to mat that onto my mat. Get rid of these dirty papers with my favorite ink. You're not too late, Donna. I always save my videos and I upload them tomorrow to YouTube so you can find them. Okay, and now I have my card base. Next week I have a technique for you too. It's kind of cool. So we need a few little birds. Where did my birds go? Right here. Oh, sorry, people. My meter. I'm on a continuous. Oh, not going to stop. Hold on a minute. We're good. Okay. It's amazing what they've done in technology. Okay, so now I've already pre-stamped this just to save some time. Now I'm going to do the same trick that I did on the other card. I'm going to make a pencil mark where I want my point to be. I'm also going to put just a dab of adhesive behind this so I can punch them together because I want them to have the same angle. Now what do you do if it's not long enough? Well, you take a Post-it note, people. You need to have Post-it notes in your toolbox. That's the bottom line. They're my best friend. I'm going to attach this to the Post-it note. Now they're together, so I can take that banner punch again, slide it right in till I see that dot. Didn't quite get it all. So now I'm going to pop these up, but I want to off-center them just a little bit. I want this to be on the bottom. Take a little bit off. And we could use a glue dot for this. Oops, wrong ones. Okay, so I'm going to line these up. You can either put it on the top or the bottom. And then I'm going to pop them up. I want to see how it would look. I'm going to put it over here because where I had that blob that I made by mistake. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp the inside greeting with a grateful heart. I just love that. And my Blackberry Bliss ink is right here. Now, I'm sure you all know this, but it's worth repeating. Some of your darker inks take a few minutes to dry, so be very careful when you're handling them. Let me test that. Yep, it looks good. I'm going to stamp it right about there. Since it's a polymer, I'm just going to wait a couple of seconds. And I'm going to watch, see if there's any comments I can answer. While this dries. Fits perfect. And then I have my scallop. Using my Tombow. So how is everybody doing? Great, I hope. I did have a good vacation. I got a lot of cleaning done. I did some knitting. I did not stamp for a whole 7 days. I promised myself I'd stay out of my stamping room, other than for cleaning. Alright, so let's put this in here. I'll make sure it's nice and straight. I really like the hot dog cut of cards lately. I don't know why, but let me just hold that there for a minute. Alright, so here are the projects. You can see this one, I was just a little bit heavier, but it's still beautiful. Where did my cute little long pops go? Right here. Get all this stuff out of the way. And I will get stuff up on my blog, my Facebook page sometime tomorrow. I am getting ready for a big crop on Saturday. I'm so excited. It's been, I don't know, 18 months, I think, since we've had a crop. So I'm anxious to see some of my friends. We're going to all be safe and make good choices. So until next week, everybody, you take care of yourselves and have a good week. Bye-bye now.